This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, of course, it's all about the games, and we're all experts after watching the action over the weekend. We thought we'd just go straight over there right now with one of our teammates who's standing by. Lutzy, good morning.
Oh, my God. Did you catch any of it? I'm trying to work out. You would have been awake, asleep. Did you see Jess Fox? I mean, the theatre of it. It was just sensational.
The bloody theatre.
No, isn't it amazing?
Imagine that, just having to sit there and wait for the other seven competitors go to know if you've won or not.
And they put you in that seat, Lutzy.
Yes.
Because you're the fastest.
I love
down
the seat.
And, and you have to sit in the seat and wait till everyone else goes down.
Hey, Lutzy.
I do love that.
We haven't even spoken about the opening ceremony. Did you get to watch it, or where were you?
I was in the shadows of it. I was actually in a bar on the sand, but outside. I didn't actually go inside the opening ceremony, but it was actually great. It was pouring down rain.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a TV thing.
I agree,
than
and
a live
it
thing.
did look like that. You know that because on TV it was cut together. There were some pre-recorded bits. You know, more of a TV spectacle, and because it's moving over such massive distances,
Everyone I spoke to that actually paid big money for an opening ceremony ticket was sort of saying, you know what, I didn't even see Gaga. I just saw some guy in a mask. I didn't know who it was. So I don't think that works locally, but I don't know. What did you think? A lot of messages, wasn't there?
I sort of have been able to piece it together from the recaps, but I had a pretty busy weekend, so I thought, Saturday, later on Saturday, I'll go and watch it.
Yeah.
Cannot find the vision anyway. Like, they've pulled it.
Really?
Yeah. Even on the official Olympics website, they've pulled the vision.
I watched on Stan.
I wonder if it's still
Saturday
up.
lunchtime.
I mean, Celine was good.
Celine
Gaga
was great.
good.
Yeah.
And I like it seemed like the athletes got a good run on. Sometimes opening ceremonies.
I don't like that.
You blink and you miss it.
The athletes part I didn't like.
And all the boats were different sizes and looked kind of like somebody had got to
there for the athletes.
It looked like people were going to watch the start of Sydney to Hobart. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Can I explain myself?
Budget, wasn't it?
Can I explain myself? The reason why I didn't like it is because athletes in their nature are movers, and they're all just standing on a boat waiting for the boat to go by. And for me, there was something lost in them being on the track walking themselves.
Oh, yeah, yes.
It just sort of sounded like they were just standing there waving.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know.
Fair play.
I wonder if that was, it didn't feel as athlete-y.
I thought the moment when the flame was in the hands of Rafa, Serena, Nadia Comaneci and Carlos, amazing. Like they're on the boat travelling with it.
Yeah.
It went forever.
Yeah.
It was the longest. They crossed at one point, and Serena looked like she was going to pass out.
Yeah.
And then they must have said, "Oh, the camera's on," and she kind of perked up again. It was like that bit really did drag a bit.
It's like being on a float. I did so many floats during Student Council in Kalgoorlie. It just reminds me of going down Hannon Street dressed as Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah. And it just goes forever.
There you go, Lutzy.
Forever and
Put that
ever.
vision in your mind.
Yeah. That's why Kalgoorlie will never host the Olympics.
Love that attitude.
Apart from being the voice of the Rugby Sevens, which we'll get to in a second, you're obviously doing your job still over there. So where are you set up to do your radio show back to Brisbane?
Right now, I'm in the Stade de France, which is where the Rugby Sevens, the athletics, and I believe the closing ceremony as well. So I sort of just shack up here because at the moment it's like 1:30 in the morning.
Do they know?
Here.
But and where are you?
I'm not sure they do.
Maybe just got an extension cord coming out from somewhere.
No, well, I'm sitting exactly where I'd sit for announcing the Rugby Sevens,
Okay.
so I just stay on.
We've just got a laptop in front
Are
of
you
you.
sleeping there?
Is everybody else like, oh, that's so sad. He's got no accommodation.
Look at this homeless guy with a laptop and some headphones.
There's a guy in the booth next to me right now, and I'm looking at. I think I'm looking at some closing ceremony rehearsals. So
Are you really? Go tell us what's happening. Go there.
I don't know. There's like laser lights. on the field right now.
Lasers. That doesn't sound like it'd be
Pretty cool.
part of a ceremony or a performance.
Yeah,
Lasers.
We're going to blast
I
everyone
think
off.
they're testing the lighting for the closing ceremony.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's Paris. It'll be like fairy lights everywhere.
Yeah.
Just be fairy lights. So they just gone to Bunnings and wiped out aisle 57.
Yeah. now, Lutzy, the Aussies got knocked out of the running in the men's rugby sevens. On your watch,
Yeah,
what
we got
happened?
fourth.
Come on.
It was fourth, but I'll tell you what. I mean, if you didn't want the Aussies to win, the French won. And the crowds here, it's so bizarre and so different to sporting experiences in Australia. It's almost like the crowd has meetings before they get there and they just know, like they started singing their own national anthem just without any, no one told them to.
Yeah.
Like one guy started and then all of a sudden 70,000 people catch on. it's like a choreography in the actual crowd. It's been spectacular. And France won the men's rugby sevens. There's a guy called Antoine Dupont, who was a world famous rugby player who just switched to sevens just for this, just because he wanted to win gold. And he of course orchestrated the grand final, the gold medal match, and won it for France. So the theatre, I mean, you couldn't write the stuff. It's very French.
Yes, isn't it? Yeah.
But the Aussie men with the getting a send off just minutes before the end of the game and the opportunity to be able to equal it. Were they unlucky? Yeah. Should have medalled. I don't know whether they would have beaten Fiji or even the French, but they should have probably medalled. But you know what? That's history now. The women had 2 wins in their pool matches today.
Yep.
I think that other than New Zealand, I can't see too many people being as good as the Aussies. That they're a really amazing team, the Australian women. So I'm saying that within 48 hours, we'll hopefully see them in a gold medal match as well here at the Stade de France.
Wow. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Hey, what's happening on the ground there? Have you heard any rumours about anything? Any like Olympic scandals? Is there anything going on? Either the ground?
Gaga poked her head out of that out of the stretch limo and just sang to the people who didn't even ask her to, which was kind of weird. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that.
No. What?
Oh my God! Get your producer to track it down. She just was at some hotel in the centre of town.
Oh, she was getting into a car? Was that she was getting into a car because I didn't have the sound on?
It looks like her head's poking out of like those limousine sort of roofs.
Yes.
And she just started singing that track from the movie she did with Old Mate.
Yeah.
Star is Born. Star is Born.
And everyone. Not that one. The other song. The second best song from that film.
Sung in French. Yep.
She's singing that. I mean, there's celebs. Ariana Grande's in town. I know that. I went to a hotel last night. Jill Biden's there. I mean, surely she's got better things to do.
What was she singing?
She's put Old Mate in the home straight up. And
she's singing
like,
Wake Up Joe.
She's dead set at the
Do you reckon
Olympics.
Joe's just in a wheelchair facing a wall somewhere?
I think so.
We had sniffer dogs on our level because Jill Biden's staying there. It's ridiculous.
Hey, Lutzy, obviously you've been out just making sure the nightlife is going to the levels that it needs to.
Yes.
What's that been like, going to bars and pubs? Is the atmosphere electric?
I wouldn't say it's electric. I think it's quieter than what people anticipated. I think people have sort of, Parisians have sort of taken off.
They've gotten out.
And there's security everywhere. It kind of makes you feel pretty safe. There's like guys with machine guns, like absolutely.
That makes me feel safe.
It's a bit of a mood killer, though, isn't it? Don't you reckon?
It is a little bit. But no, it's been great. As I said, the opening ceremony, I literally just stood with a bunch of people from random countries and just cheers for every boat that came past. We all got drenched. We got drunk. It was a really cool. There is a cool atmosphere here, and I think as we roll into more sports, that's only going to get better and bigger.
Hey, what's your timetable now? So when's all the rugby sevens finish up?
I got 2 more days. So
and then what are we doing?
2 more days of rugby sevens. I love athletics. So I'll be out here for a lot of track and field. I've got to catch some swimming. I mean, and the other thing you've got to catch, I'm not sure what timeline you guys are on, but Emma McKeon got quite emotional this morning after her last individual swim. She's got a couple of relays to go, but there's some pretty special stuff happening out there at the swimming too. And I don't know, I'm getting goosebumps. I love this.
Yeah,
I love this.
Have you got one of those passes that allows you to go to all those events, or do you actually have to purchase tickets along the way?
No, I've sort of got Stade de France covered, which is this obviously the stadium I'm at here. My friends at Nike helped me with some stuff, but heaven forbid, I might have to dig into the credit card at some point.
Oh, that's got to
the company credit card or the Percy?
Oh, yeah, you know how Nova works, guys. I like to do that.
Swimming in money.
Yeah.
Swimming in money.
Yeah, Daddy Lockie, come at me.
Oh, shower me. Make it rain, Daddy.
Well, Lutzy, you're living the dream, and we're kind of just tagging along. We appreciate your time, buddy.
No, I love your enthusiasm,
We'll touch
guys.
base again.
Yeah, we will. Definitely, Lutzy.
Cheers, guys.
All the best.
Our official
Harry,
Paris
did you
reporter,
find it?
There it is.
Lutzy.
Did you find it? Here we go.
Oh, yeah, okay. So this is...
Put on the sound.
So this is Gaga.
Oh, this is Gaga.
Not here, it's everyone else.
How random.
And she gets shot for breaking the service. One of the machine guns. Please be quiet.
Crazy time. Silence.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
We'll talk about a few other sports to begin things. The West Coast Fever going down to the Melbourne Vixens. So later on, when Caitlin comes in, we'll talk about the machinations with their roster, because there's two players at the moment that are currently unsigned for next season, 2025, and one of them is their very own Kelsey Brown.
Yeah. Oh. Can I just say, I really enjoy when you use the term machinations. It's just that it's not something that's in my vocabulary, so I never use it. And when you use it, it surprises me.
It's magical.
And you're using it in context, which is even more surprising.
Can I tell you why?
So is it one of your favourite words to use?
No, it came about because Chris Connolly, who the coach that I didn't. Oh, there was two. Him and Damien Drum, which I had nothing for. Yeah. He threw it out a few times, and we used to have a bit of a chuckle because that was a big word at the time.
Oh, so yeah, of course.
As if he knows what that means. But anyway, I stole that from him.
And now you use it. Yeah, okay. What a gift.
Because you knew it makes the room buzz a bit, don't you?
That's Chris Connolly's legacy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry. And Damien Drums was hard in the mind, hard in the body. That was his legacy.
You like that one too.
Yeah,
you do well at that.
We used to have a girl at work here that used to say, "Oh, fall on my sword," because she used to stuff up all the time.
Yeah.
And we're like, you are multiple times dead. like you're like Game of Thrones dead.
So, unlucky for the Fever against the Vixens. There was a home court advantage the whole way through. The momentum seemed like they could have broken away, that being the Vixens on a number of occasions.
They've played them 3 times this year, and the margin's been won in each game.
Do you have a solve for the issue?
Yeah, they need a 2-point shooter.
There you go.
They need a 2-point shooter.
Yeah, they were able to call themselves back into it because the Vixens kept, every now and then, but the Vixens kept hitting the 2-pointers.
Super shots, yeah.
It's not that hard.
I'll get to the net snap.
Yeah.
Maybe you're the only hope.
Pretty good in my day.
Help me, Obi-Wan.
So it'll be interesting the way things go.
I'm only a foot too short.
Moving forward. But, they missed out on the grand final twice the last couple of years by just one.
Yeah, that is devastating.
Heartbreaking.
Yes, it is.
The other sport that was getting around that everyone was talking about and went to on the weekend was the Derby. Come on, Freo.
Shaun.
What a game it was.
Well, how would Harry know? Harry told me who was there. Harry, how was the game?
I didn't soak too much of it in.
This is the thing about going to the footy.
Yeah. I just went with the guy character you guys know, Felsey. So we got stuck into the
corporate hospitality.
What surprises me is when I have been at the footy a few times. The people that are actually watching the game like they're at home watching TV, it's like, how? There's so many distractions.
I mean,
there's food, there's drinks, there's people that you're with, there's people that you're seeing. Like, how do you even concentrate on what's happening?
Yeah.
We got the general gist of it, good comeback. But someone messaged me the next day and said, "Did you get any footage of the fight?" And I went, "What? Which one?"
So you missed that?
Just before 3/4 time.
The fight that made the news.
Yeah.
What part of the game was it?
Just before 3/4 time.
Okay, right.
And there'd been a lot of niggle from the get-go. First of all, number one, the West Coast Eagles took it to Fremantle physically.
In first half especially?
Yeah, and Jared Schofield was saying he wanted the players to play on the edge, and clearly they did that. And that meant that Fremantle had to step up. And whilst the West Coast Eagles were in front for the first half, you were hoping that Freo could find, for me...
Were you worried that your dream was coming true?
100%. I was telling everyone.
I know.
Oh my God, I dreamt this.
And the Derby Challenge. That was the Derby Challenge.
The Derby
Challenge as well.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, are we the Witches of Eastwick?
Yeah. No,
100%.
as it turns out, because they lost.
It was a really good performance on one side of things if you're a West Coast Eagles supporter, because you stayed in it for a long time, and you could see
there are glimmers of hope there.
Yeah, you could see that a team playing at the absolute optimum could perform at a level for a period of time. They weren't able to sustain that. The second half was dominated by the Dockers, and they were showed that they're actually a good team.
Yeah.
And it proved to me that they've got a bit of gumption too, because that was the thing that I was worried about.
What about the machinations?
There's many machinations going forward, and it had a lot to do with Harley Reid, because he wanted to fight everyone on the night.
I saw that. Why the Fremantle crowd booing Harley Reid? What's that about?
It was because he was trying to fight everyone.
So they were booing
don't you start about West Coast support. They are the worst.
I'm just asking the question because it's not like I know that the Fremantle they boo Andrew Gaff. He actually did something.
Yeah.
But so they were booing Harley as the game went on because of the way he was playing? Is that what it was?
No, it was the way he was behaving. Probably, mate, if you turned it around, if it was a Dockers that was starting everything and wanting to fight everyone, then you'd be going
I didn't watch the game, so I was at a Christmas in July.
All I know is that Harley, after the game, went around to my parents' house and tried to pick a fight with my mum.
Yeah,
so people were just trying to control him.
The Harley versus Marley show. People would be on board with that.
Marley.
It was really interesting because I was speaking to Ben Cousins about this whilst the game was going on constantly, and he was telling me back in the day when he was started playing, they were telling him you've got to have the temperament of Dean Kemp when you're out there, and being either tagged or harassed, which he wasn't, because he takes the fight to them.
Yeah.
So on one side of the thing, I reckon if he's playing for my team, I love his competitiveness.
Yeah.
The fact that he's a gun player is unbelievable anyway. But
and also, he's not shy to take down legends that because he's just started.
Nathan, that is 100%
It's
true.
amazing.
Yeah, I made that example to my boys on the weekend.
Oh, well, I got something right.
Yeah, because he does. He doesn't walk out in the ground and think, oh my God, I'm standing next to that five.
How do I get him to the ground?
Yeah,
how do I get him to the ground?
Yeah.
Yes.
And even like Christian Petrarca as well. Remember that the hand in the face. What is that? Petrarca. It's
Yeah.
extraordinary.
So he's next level. The thing that Fremantle did really well about him, and he had a good game, but his possessions, half of them were ineffective because the Dockers chased him down and tackled him from behind, so they had a really good game plan that way. But he still had a heap of the ball.
I think.
Yeah, 29.
Yeah.
But, geez, he's got a future ahead of him. On the Dockers side of the things, they're sitting equal second, so they're in third spot at the moment, just on percentage.
Yeah.
They really showed that they... those guys, Andrew Brayshaw, led by Shaun Darcy in the ruck, had 47 hit-outs. Andrew Brayshaw, Caleb Sarong, Hayden Young in the middle.
Tracy was
Josh
great.
Tracy, geez, they're good.
Yeah.
And the other
I got
thing...
worried about Shaun Darcy's head when I saw it.
Yeah, no, me too.
I was like,
go down.
geez, yeah.
And the other thing about the Dockers, they were a younger side on the weekend than the Eagles, both on games played and also on age. And I was at the event on Friday, and Tim Gossage was interviewing Elliot Yeo, and Elliot made the thing because he mentioned Brayshaw and Sarong, and he said, "Oh, well, they're in the prime of their life. They're getting on a bit." Caleb Sarong's 23 and Andy Brayshaw's 24.
Oh my God!
Josh Tracy's 21.
Psychologically, what that does to you footballers just must be mind blowing. That must be like to think that you're like getting long in the tooth at 23.
Well, I don't think anybody else thinks that.
No, not at all.
But I think
he's just saying.
He was just saying it at the time, and I was thinking, I better check their ages because I think these guys are super young. They are.
And how old's Yoey?
Elliot's is he 30 or 31?
Yeah.
And you're like Dumbledore if you're
that.
100%.
That is insane.
Yeah, you are.
Well, Jeremy McGovern's the oldest player at the West Coast Eagles, and he is essentially like there's a generational divide between him and the young boys.
We've got a rocking chair, and he just sits here and whittles.
Yeah, loves it.
And then lastly, just with the AFL, the way things are teaming up, I know people are picking their teams getting rolled every week, but the competitions is just amazing. And the AFL bosses will be sitting back there just...
Sydney. What's happened to Sydney?
Yeah, injuries. They get you.
Yeah,
they didn't have them before, now they do.
I know, they were so far ahead, and now they're coming back to the pack.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
It's always good to have Caitlin Bassett in the house to talk about sport, of which she was covering a lot over the weekend. We'll start off with the West Coast Fever, though, Caitlin. 1 point.
One goal.
Oh,
I know. Devastating.
But you know what? That third quarter, it's so bizarre because Fever's third quarter is traditionally their best. So they normally come out after half time. They've had a conversation in the change room and they absolutely smashed it. They didn't. They came out with a whimper. But great for them to fight back. They were down by 12 goals with like 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So finally nailed some super shots. They actually shot more than the Vixens in the end.
Which is extraordinary.
But just too little too late.
Yeah.
So that's their season done. I see you've got your green scarves. Are you ready to chuck them in the bin? Is that what
yeah.
they're
Well, we're going to have a bonfire later.
From Marketplace straight away. Where do they go to from here? I was reading that they've only got 2 spots that will be available next year, and one's Kelsey Brown, which we've had here a lot. We love her.
Yes.
Are they going to clamp down on her?
So everyone's got a contract apart from Kelsey and Shanice Beckford, who's the Jamaican goal attack that they brought in this year. And I guess it's tough decisions now for Dan Ryan and the team to make in that they came so close. Like 1 goal, they finished third. There's definitely some growth in that goal attack area this year. If we look at Olivia Wilkinson and Shanice Beckford, it's their first year in SSN.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, think about how much growth they're going to another pre-season under their belt, another experience. Kelsey's another one. It's tough.
Can I just say with Kelsey, I said this to Kelsey just recently, not since you, Caitlin, I think, have we had a better spokesperson for netball? She's amazing.
She's great, isn't she?
She humanises it. She's interesting.
Yeah. And the Fever used her a lot. They offered her up a lot, not just to us, but up post-game interviews. Kelsey played a big part in that.
So if Kelsey's a decent player, which she is, that in addition to what she's doing for the club outside is something that they should lock down right now.
100%. I think clubs need to start looking a little bit broader, more than what just happens on the court.
And she's delivering on court
anyway. For the game.
Yes, exactly. exactly. So, I mean, Kels was lucky to get a spot this year.
Yeah.
And
It was
look
a
how well
last-minute
she
call-up.
played.
Yeah.
The quality of player like that not getting a spot is wild in our
crazy.
league these days. So, Fever have a couple of young up-and-comers coming through the ranks. They've got Zoe Kransberg, who's Jordan Kransberg's twin sister.
Wow.
So, I mean, that would be pretty exciting seeing those two out
twins,
there.
eh?
There's Ruth Ariang, who's Sunday Ariang's sister. So, I mean, there's the potential for two sets of sisters potentially to be playing in the team, which...
Wow.
If they don't make a move on the West Coast Fever, then they're going to get lost to another team.
They will get snapped up. Yeah.
And other things when list management is, when you're looking at it, you've got to make sure that you've got some youth coming through as well. So it's a really tough position, Nathan. And you're right with what she's bringing to the table, Kelsey I'm bringing. But, God, from a list management point of view, they've already got the others sewn up.
And only 10 positions.
They've got to keep one of these young people.
It's tight, isn't it?
Yeah. So there is the 11th contract, so someone might get 11th contract, but they won't get paid as much. And so it's just a little...
Like, what do you mean as much?
So they only get a certain amount of to be the 11th player. They don't get a full contract.
Oh, so what sort of money are we talking about there? Do you know?
I don't know.
Around?
No, like...
Yeah, say it.
I don't know. I actually don't know. No.
Like 50?
No, not that
20.
much. No. Yeah, more around that 20.
So you'd have to have another job,
20.
essentially.
You'd want a hybrid.
You'd
Need a hybrid.
That's right. It's
Well,
right.
better getting cash
So
car
anyway,
and stuff.
I was watching the Fever while sitting at the Derby while I had the Swan Districts and South Freo game going at the same time because I was writing the match report for that. So there was like my brain was just going wild.
Seabass, when I came into the media area and you were doing all that stuff, there was a few journalists who were watching the basketball as well. Australia was playing Spain, and I wanted to watch a piece of that. In the media area, there's 100 screens all over the place. There was an iPad that was sitting about, half a foot from me, and it had all the TV channels on there. And I thought, oh, beautiful! I'll be able to watch. I'll just
Did
check
that
over.
iPad control all the TV screens?
I hit it straight away.
Sean.
I hit it straight away.
Oh, God.
And then the footy, which is everyone needs
Sean
to
goes
watch
to the
and
corner
write
and
stories
grabs on it and like he's on Red Hot Pie.
Yeah, that's a blue screen of death
It all went
everywhere.
off.
No, Sean. Did everyone yell at you?
Oh, Craig O'Donoghue wasn't far, and he was able to come over and sort it out and put back on the Derby because that's what we're there for in the
Jesus,
first
Sean.
place. But I thought, oh
Don't
God,
touch
this is going to go
anything,
down
ever.
real well
Anyway,
for
so
me.
Sean just he just leant back and he really enjoyed the third series of Bridgerton, which he watched the entirety of that
What
day.
did you make of the game?
Look, the first half was fantastic. Really loved it. A bit confused why everyone booed Harley every time he touched the ball.
Said,
A little bit confused about that. But to be honest, the amount of attention that he got, I think he brought on himself. Like he was definitely out there to get the biff and to get up and about. But I think that's what made it an exciting derby. It was spicier than what we've seen in the past. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the last couple of years, maybe even the last 5, it's been a bit poor in that respect. But the Eagles come to play. They really come to play. And Fremantle then had to do it. And Harley came to play. And again, the Fremantle guys had to match that and increase the intensity, which they did to get the chocolate. So it was a win-win for both. The only thing is, I said last week, a lot of the case was this is West Coast's last game for the year, in my mind.
Yep.
And where does it go from here? Maybe they'll put up a reasonable effort about the Gold Coast Suns, and people will tip West Coast to win that. I'm not sure. But after that, I just can't see them winning a game.
Are they going to officially land in the bottom place?
No.
No, not this stage.
No.
But they can, because North Melbourne and Richmond play each other. So one of them wins, they go above, and then it comes down.
Because you really want to be
another
either end,
game.
don't you? The top or the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Top or the bottom.
Yeah, the engine or the caboose.
Yeah, you want
you
more
want to be the
draft
caboose.
picks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.